Hi, everybody. I want to thank you so much for coming back to see the show again. I am here with ZACHARIAH FRALICK, and we just been talking. I just met her just a few minutes ago, and we've sort of set this up over the period of about a month ago, something like that.
Yep.
And to me, what we're about to get into puts her in the role of being a John the Baptist. She's confronting our society, our culture, with its most, grievous act. I mean, it immediately causes people to make a decision, and that is abortion. She's going to be talking to us today about her ministry and what that entails. And first, before she does that, ZACHARIAH, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your faith, and how that started?
Yeah, so I am a cradle Catholic, so I grew up in the Catholic faith. I have 3 younger brothers, so my big family and I went to, or semi-big family, went to Mass every Sunday. I went to World Youth Day in 2002 with Pope John Paul. I was in Toronto, and soon after that, so I didn't really feel like I had, growing up, sort of a personal relationship with Christ, so I think I was kind of easily fell away from it.
Yeah.
And so, so much of my 20s and most of my 30s, I was away from my faith.
Okay. Yeah.
Just kind of got caught up in the culture,
Yes.
bought into the feminism
Yeah.
piece. And then I was actually, for a couple of years in my late 30s, I was atheist. So kind of working through that whole thing, but, pride, rebellion, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And so then I was always sort of, I guess in my late 30s, really kind of seeking the truth, no matter how I felt about it. And so I started sort of just looking into sort of topics that would have been political, that type of thing. And I would have called myself a pro-choicer for much of my life, but it kind of ended there. I wasn't ever challenged.
Right.
Nobody really, spoke to me about it one way or the other. But I just decided one afternoon, I kind of had a thought come over me that I wanted to kind of look into the pro-life argument.
Yeah.
And so I spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours, kind of just researching the arguments for that side, kind of statistics and that kind of thing. And I was pro-life at the end of that research. And then so a couple of things sort of happened to kind of get me back to my childhood faith, Catholicism. And one of that was my brother was getting married, and so he and his wife invited me to the Alpha program, which was Evidence for Christ, so that kind of helped. And a couple other things. It wasn't really one big aha moment, but during that time I really felt this pull toward fighting this fight in abortion.
Yes.
Really the biggest injustice of our time. There's
Yes,
always,
it
every
is.
era, there's always something that's, we're dehumanizing a whole class of people.
Yeah.
And so I just started immersing myself in how to defend life. And so I spent a lot of my free time doing that, following, pro-life groups kind of across the globe. A lot of people sort of just, going out, confronting the culture on the streets, that kind of thing, just wanted to learn from them.
Yeah.
And so I just got better and better at defending life, more and more confident. And the rest is history.
So when you went from finding for the first time in some ways, a faith in Christ, how did it go from that to your first time sort of being demonstrative? You're demonstrating something on the streets with your information. How did that happen the first time?
Yeah, so in 2021, so I had spent probably much of 2020 and 2021 kind of just learning a lot about how to defend life, watching a lot of debates and that sort of thing. And so it was Christmas time in 2021 that I thought, I want to get involved in the pro-life movement in some way. And I
Right.
don't know why I chose that. It's just the Lord has put this
Yep.
calling on my life.
Sure.
But I just did a quick Google search for pro-life in Halifax, and I ended up joining Nova Scotians United for Life.
Okay.
I volunteered with them for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And
Right.
through there, I
Okay.
met a girl, Michelle, who was a volunteer,
Yeah.
and she invited me to this pro-life, how to defend life in the womb,
Yeah.
pro-life course that someone I hadn't met yet was putting on.
Yeah.
It's part of CCBR's How to Defend Life in the Womb series.
Okay.
So CCBR stands for the Canadian Centre for Bioethical Reform.
Yeah.
They're sort of the nation's kind of biggest strategy mission, kind of as far as sort of trying to educate people on the sanctity of life and that sort of thing.
Okay. And
Yep.
just to let everybody know,
Yep.
these organizations that she's speaking about, we are going to give links to them at the bottom of the YouTube page. You'll see all kinds of links.
Yep.
And what's eventually going to be a link that you can actually support Zachariah in what she does. So all that's going to be below. So when she's going through all this, and you might think, I've never heard that person. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
heard
will be linked.
of CCRB.
CCBR.
CCBR.
Yep.
I've never heard of that before.
Yep.
And so this is the first time. So all that's going to be below. So
Yep,
you'll be able to
thank
find
you.
out more information on it.
Yep.
Okay, how can you kind of give us an idea? We're trying to do a whole lot in very little bit
Yes.
of time here. So we're going to skip right to her being on the streets.
Yes.
Like she just was 2 hours ago?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Spend an hour.
Okay, and what that looks like.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, and so in that Christian pro-life course, I should have finished up that thought, but so I took that course. It was just over 6 weeks, the very
Yeah.
end of the course.
Yeah.
We did a morning, had a little kind of mini training, and then we were out on the street that afternoon for the first
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that ever since for nearly 2 years now, every other weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, so fast forward to the street.
Yeah.
So this afternoon I was out on the street with our team. We're called Halifax Against Abortion.
Yeah.
And so we are just there to have conversations with people about abortion. So
Yeah.
the question we ask everybody passing by is, what do you think about abortion?
Yeah.
We get obviously varied answers.
Yeah.
A lot of people ignoring us.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, lots of, antagonistic
Oh, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just out there to sort of educate. So
Yes.
in the pro-life movement, there's actually 3 arms of the pro-life movement. So
Okay.
there's the political arm, the pastoral arm, and the educational arm.
Okay.
So the political arm obviously is, trying to elect pro-life MPs,
Yeah.
kind of appeal to the public to kind of vote differently.
Yeah.
They respond to their constituents type thing.
Mm-hmm.
The pastoral arm would be, your pregnancy resource centers, your churches,
Mm-hmm.
anybody willing to help to offer women a choice other than abortion.
Right.
But the educational piece, we stand out on the streets with abortion victims. We refer to it as AVP, so it's abortion victim photography.
Yeah.
So we show people what abortion looks like.
Oh,
We
wow.
confront the culture with that.
Yeah.
And the educational arm of the pro-life movement is vital for the other two to make any progress. So
Yes.
if we're not out there educating the public on why abortion is wrong,
Yeah.
planting some seeds, giving them some things to think about,
Yeah.
they're not learning about what other resources there are out there.
Right.
And then, of course, if we can change public opinion largely,
Yeah.
we're able to do that. And then, of course, people will vote differently, right?
Oh, yeah.
Eventually. So,
Yeah.
So I always like to bring up, I will hear often, abortion will never be abolished, we'll never get rid of it, sort of thing. I sort of rebuke that cynicism
Okay,
because,
okay.
I often, when I'm looking for supporters,
Yeah.
because I'm hoping to actually join CCBR soon,
Yeah.
and I have to raise a monthly salary, I will bring up the slave trade in Britain in the late 1700s and early 1800s. And he used the slave victims, saturated the public with those images to appeal to people's hearts
Yeah.
and say, this is what we're doing to our black brothers and sisters.
Right.
And
it changed.
Yep, he put through 8 bills of abolition. He wasn't willing
Yeah.
to kind of compromise.
Yeah.
And,
The moment that
20
Doug-
years.
Yes. The
It took
moment that Doug mentioned this to me,
Yes.
he said, "How do you feel about it?" And I said, and I got to say, I was cynical because I said to Doug,
Yeah, I think a lot of people are.
yeah, I said, I want to be on the right side of this
Yep.
even though it feels like a losing battle.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost like it's if you're going to be on the right side of a fight, it's
Yeah.
not always the winning side.
Yeah, for sure.
But
For
it's
sure.
still the right side.
Yeah,
you know,
I kind of like to think
Yeah.
of the William Wilberforce who kind of led the abolition
Right.
movement. Sort of, you know, he was up against it. So slavery
Yeah.
was legal and, you know, and practiced
Yeah.
all over the world
Yes.
in all of human history. And they
Yes.
were able to abolish slavery in
Yeah.
20 years. It just took them 2 decades.
Yes.
And so we've had 50 years, 55 years of legal abortion.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this. Canada is the only democracy in the world with no abortion laws.
Wow.
So we are able to abort our children for any reason or no reason at all up to birth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Every 5 minutes or so, a baby loses its life to abortion in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a big fight.
It is a big
But
fight.
I feel like it's one of those things where, like, once the momentum is sort of like what snowball, you know, gets
Yeah.
the avalanche going kind of thing.
Well-
It's going to be one of those things. It will, I think, be abolished in my lifetime.
Wow.
I'm confident.
Why has it been accepted? Please tell us.
Why has abortion been accepted?
Yes.
I think the abortion industry has done a good job lying to
Okay.
women. And I think it's one of those slippery slope things where, you know, they wanted it to be safe, legal, and rare. That's what they said.
Yeah.
But, you know, what does that turn into
Yeah.
down the line, right?
So you mean it's
give a
actually
little.
the business of abortion promotes
Yeah,
what
so
makes them
I
money.
actually own a book by
Yeah.
a former abortionist who found God and stopped doing what he was doing. And he was one of the 2 that actually propelled sort of the lie
Yeah.
about all the statistics and stuff that they used
Yeah.
to defend Roe v. Wade at the time.
Okay.
And yeah, so
Can you give us an idea sort of the statistics in Canada? I know
Yeah,
you mentioned every
absolutely.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
that's a
bigger-
conservative number, so it's probably a little bit, you know, a little bit more than that.
Right.
I do believe Quebec doesn't, we don't have any stats from Quebec.
Okay.
And I know that private clinics aren't obligated to report, so we often won't have that those numbers in the reports.
Okay.
In general, there's about 100,000 abortions in Canada every year.
Wow.
So that's upwards of about 300 a day.
Okay.
And so, yeah, if you just do the math, based on that conservative number,
Yeah.
you're looking at about an abortion every 5 minutes.
And the reason people usually or accept as a reason to have an abortion,
Yes.
is it just a matter of convenience?
I think so. I mean, a lot of it is fear driven, right? So a
Okay.
lot of women are in fear. You know,
yes.
we live in a culture post-sexual revolution where, you know, sex isn't reserved for marriage,
Right.
and, you know, what consequences come of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's a level of brainwashing that has happened.
Yeah.
Not to speak to women not knowing what they're doing, because
Yeah.
I don't think women are that stupid.
Right.
But I do think that it's when you're in a predicament where you might feel that fear, or, you know, how can I support a child?
Yeah.
The culture is telling you, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, abortion's healthcare.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time.
Yes.
And that's ludicrous. It's like
Yeah.
healthcare doesn't end the life
Yeah.
of an innocent human being.
But
So I think it's a lot of things at play.
okay, and I sort of want to get into asking you, when somebody comes to you who is struggling with the idea of abortion or not,
Yes.
what do you guys do to help somebody?
Yeah. So on our signs that we hold,
Yeah.
they're about chest high, so they're quite big. They're visible from the street, and we're there to have the eyes on it from the cars, but
Yes.
also passerby as well, and engage in conversation with them.
Okay, yeah.
And so we have a couple of links on the signs
Yeah.
that take them to all kinds of resources
Yeah.
all across Canada, so
Yeah.
based on where they are.
Yeah.
And we also educate people on, so oftentimes in my conversation, I will go through human rights apologetics. I'll go through, we have a technique called trot out the toddler. So it's basically using a born person and using a circumstance very similar or exactly the same as the circumstance they've brought up to justify abortion, and saying, you know, if I can't kill my 3-year-old or my 2-year-old, why can I kill the same child for the same reason that 2 years earlier in the womb, sort of
Right.
thing. So
Yes.
that's really kind of the point of contention between me and the pro-choice or pro-abort,
Right.
is that they just think you need to be born to have rights, right?
Okay.
And so eventually, once we go through sort of the apologetics, I find in my experience, it just naturally progresses into either them asking me, what's the foundation for why I feel so strongly about this or my belief, and or it's me bringing it up naturally, just by saying, let's say you came to me and said, well, I think abortion should be justified with rape. And so I get that 9 times out of 10. If you bring that up, or if you just bring up something like, well, it doesn't have a heartbeat, or, you know, whatever sort of thing they've used to dehumanize the child in the womb, I'll often eventually end up saying to them, well, having a heartbeat isn't what makes you valuable. You're valuable because you're made in the image of God.
Right.
And then you're naturally into that conversation anyway. And I think that the truth is how you love someone best. So, you know, we don't necessarily want to say abortion's murder, and promote our Christianity by any means. But a lot of people assume that, and we're standing on that truth because Christ is the foundation for human rights.
That's right.
Human rights don't matter without Christ, or don't make any sense without Christ. And so it naturally progresses in that direction kind of thing. And surprisingly, people are quite receptive to that. Once you've kind of built a rapport, and I always tend to get their name, and you know, just I'm trying to have a lengthy conversation with them and plant some seeds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're often a couple of the girls on our team. One who's post-abortive, she went through Project Rachel. So that's linked to Nova Scotians United for Life. They do work with Project Rachel. It's post-abortive healing. So they'll help anybody from men who have, you know, been through abortion, women who have been through abortion, even medical professionals who saw an abortion and can't handle it. And so we'll give them those resources because a lot of women are post-abortive. So you had mentioned the statistics. So about 1 in 4, 1 in 3 women are post-abortive in Canada.
Are you serious?
So you're talking to a lot of women who have had abortions, and if you have one abortion, you're more likely to have another.
How do you meet them lovingly? Is that the nature of how they're met and talked to?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's all just, it happened, and now it's the rescue mission of Christ to take a heart and a life and restore and put it forward. And
and that's the message. Like, you know, healing can be found in Christ for this, right?
Yes.
And, you know, we have witnesses right on the team. The one of the girls, she'll hold a sign that says, I regret my abortion. And she'll talk to post-abortive women. So a lot of them are, you can just see the pain, right? And they're angry because they haven't dealt with that. And so, you know, me and my team, like, I'm always trying to image Christ on the street. And abortion's definitely a calling for me, but I wouldn't actually consider myself a very patient person. But I have the patience of a saint on the street, and I attribute that to the Holy Spirit. And the fact that I've always gone into this saying, I don't expect anyone to change their mind in front of me. All I'm doing is planting a seed. So that they have something that they have to think about for the rest of the day. And week and month.
What do you, because you've been doing this for 2 years.
2 years,
Every other week. Other than ridiculous storms that would make it ridiculous to stand
too windy.
outside.
That's really the only time we not go out. Because the signs are too unmanageable.
What are some of the confrontations that you would face?
So we have a lot of
on the negative,
people,
I'm trying to say.
on the negative, So a lot of cars that pass by will flip the bird to us. They'll yell out the window, we're going to hell. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Abortion's healthcare. A lot of the talking points of the abortion industry, they'll yell out. Abortion's healthcare is a big one. Women's choice. I always follow that up with, what about the woman in the womb? You know, that type of thing. And really also apathy. So I even find that worse. You know, I don't know who the quote's attributed to, but it's like the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. So the apathy, especially from men, is quite concerning. And it's almost like the people yelling at us can be reached because they have enough something going on to say it out loud. It's often a carload of people because a lot of people by themselves don't say much because I guess, you know, you need an audience. Impress your friend or whatever. And then passerby. A lot of people just ignore us. Like, you know, I'm very kind on the street and saying hello to people. They won't even acknowledge that you're standing there. So a lot of that, a lot of apathy. But
so it's rare, any kind of somebody deciding to step out of wherever they're at and come over and confront and yell, and that's a sort of a rare thing.
Yeah, I would say it would happen every time we're out on the street in one form or another.
Okay.
So today I found a lot of middle fingers,
Okay.
especially.
Yeah.
But there are days that have been surprising where we haven't gotten a ton of,
Yeah.
people sort of against us in that sort of loud way.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a lot of love, like, a bus driver will go, yeah, great. A lot
Yeah.
of thumbs up. A lot of people patting us on the back saying, God bless you for doing this,
Yeah, amen.
that kind of thing. And that puts the wind back in your sails,
Yes.
because though I love this work, it has its challenges and can be very mentally draining at times.
Yeah. Oh my dear,
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah. And of course too, like when you're
I
talking,
mean, this is
post-abortive
the
women,
issue.
it's like my heart just goes out to
Oh
them,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the issue that is.
It's the biggest injustice of our time.
It's
is
dividing
abortion.
lines of politics.
Yep, absolutely.
And I mean, not just that, but dividing lines, I guess, in schools with regards to
Yep.
the identity
Yep.
politics that
Yep,
are now
absolutely.
alive,
Yep,
and
absolutely.
and we're in that for I don't know
Yep.
how long.
Yep.
And it's funny though how your reaction, the reaction to you
Yes.
attempting to save a life
Yes.
is
Yeah.
violence,
Yep.
violent
Yep.
or hate.
Yeah. I think the lies just don't like to be confronted.
Yeah.
And, we had 2 people today tell us to go to hell,
Yeah.
and, that doesn't bother me. It bothers me that they're in that much pain that they can yell that to a complete stranger.
Right.
But I just see such brokenness in our culture, and just
Yeah.
a lot of people suffering, a lot of people in pain.
Yeah.
And it's really sad, especially like even times if somebody's admitted they've had an abortion to us,
Yeah.
we'll say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And they do not like to hear that.
Okay.
Because I think you're
Oh,
humanizing the baby that
Oh,
they
okay.
aborted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of emotions at play out there. And of course, I think like you spoke about identity politics.
Yeah.
A little bit of that too is that
Okay.
if you identify as gay or lesbian or trans or whatever,
Right.
you can't possibly be on the
Right.
side of Christ,
Right.
Which is a lie.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like that, there was a lot of lost people out there.
Yes.
And I think just confronting the culture with anything that's truthful,
Yeah.
it doesn't want to be confronted, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I find the sort of, people against us or the this or that they say and yell at us, I
Yeah.
find that encouraging.
Yeah.
Because it's like I can reach those people if you just give me some time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because even for them to see an abortion victim, like we've had children saved.
Yeah.
Women have come back to us, not Halifax Against Abortion necessarily, but through CCBR's work.
Yeah.
We've had women come back and say, I didn't abort my child because I saw that photo.
Wow.
They didn't even speak to us.
Wow.
Right. So it's very powerful, and they're hard to look at, right?
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people will, knock us for that.
Yeah.
And people can have their opinions on the abortion victim photography we use. But again, back to sort of, even the civil rights movement with Emmett Till and what they did to Emmett Till. A lot of people aren't familiar with that story,
Right,
but
right.
he was just savagely beaten, and his mother said, I'm having an open casket. And
Yeah.
people saw what happened to him. And
Yeah.
so, it changes people's hearts when they
Yes.
see what's happening, right?
Yes.
And they're very powerful to use in conversation, because I can
Yeah.
say, you love, a lot of people say, I love abortion, and I think they're trolling us.
Yeah.
And I say, you think it's justified to do this to an innocent child.
Yeah.
And the photos are wicked.
Yeah.
Like, I hate them.
Yeah.
But they're very powerful
Yeah.
in getting a message across, right?
Yeah.
Because even if a car just drives by, we've had cars drive by and said, I canceled my abortion
Yeah.
appointment."
Wow.
Yeah,
So it works.
it does, yeah.
What you're doing is working.
Yeah, and I had the privilege of joining CCBR. Again, that's the Canadian Centre for Bioethical Reform, and they do a Florida project every February. So we were in Miami, and there was 20 volunteers
Yeah.
on my crew and 10 staff, and we had I was there for that week, and then there was a second week with another group of volunteers, and over those 2 weeks we had about 2,100 conversations, and 25% of those conversations we changed their mind to be completely pro-life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is tremendous.
We tracked them, and yeah, it was wild.
Why
and
is this such
and generally another almost 25, so
Yeah.
nearly 50% had a significant mind change to the fact that they were either fully pro-life after speaking to us, or that we moved the needle very, very much.
Why is this such a powerful ministry coming out of the Catholic Church and I mean, and even if you don't know, maybe that's the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But why is it such a heartfelt issue in the Catholic Church? Why has this been so, over the years?
Well, I mean, Catholics generally, we believe in the sanctity of life,
Yeah.
like most Christians. But I think,
But to be so vocal, is that just so encouraged
yeah,
as part of?
I don't quite know.
Yeah.
I don't quite know.
Yeah.
I should,
Yeah.
but I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of work to do, though, because
Yeah.
I do talk to a lot of Catholics who would make exceptions for abortion.
Right.
So even on the street, if somebody says, "Oh, I'm for life" or whatever, I always ask, "Is there any circumstances you'd make exceptions for?" And
Yeah.
most of the time, people have exceptions.
Okay.
It's very rare that someone would say, "Nope, it's always wrong."
Right.
So even Christians, you have to kind of talk through
Right.
it with them. But I think the church Catholic Church just really stands strong on that.
Okay.
And they don't think that you should play God.
Right.
And
Right.
kill an innocent human being. It's never, ever okay.
Right.
Yeah, even in the circumstances of rape.
How can people support what you're doing?
Yeah, so I have to, because I'm looking to work with CCBR full time, there's an opportunity for me to be their Atlantic Canada volunteer coordinator. So just trying to drum up more of the pro-life movement on
Yeah.
this side of town.
Okay.
So get some pro-life groups going in PEI in Newfoundland. There's one now in New Brunswick.
Okay.
And so I'll be doing that.
Okay.
But where they're not for profit, and obviously there's no money on this side of the coin.
Yeah.
We pay with our tax dollars money to have full-time professionals kill babies,
Right.
but we need full-time people on the other side of the fight.
Yes.
So I'm asking for support from people
Yeah.
on a monthly or yearly basis, just to be able to support my salary. So
Yeah.
I've been doing human resources for 16 years now.
Okay.
Hard to believe. And I'm just putting my full faith in God's providence and
Okay.
leaving behind that career to do
Okay.
this. So I think you'll put a link to how to
Yes.
donate to me,
Okay.
and of course a couple other links just to kind of get to know kind of what my ministry is all about as well.
Yes. Okay, so you're going to see a link. When you follow that link below, it's going to take you to a page.
Yep,
where you-
donation page.
Yeah, a donation page where you can actually scroll down, find her name,
Yep.
and then you can obviously click on that name and make a donation from
Yep, you
there.
can set it up yearly, monthly,
Yeah.
and a couple other different ways, but
Yeah.
the link online will take you to electronically being able to do it.
Okay, and
Yep.
we are not even scratching the surface here today.
Definitely not.
On this issue, but I know a little bit about YouTube, and that is that the longer something is, unfortunately, the less people are going to take time out to listen to it. So we're making this very, very
Clear and concise.
Yeah, very concise. So please, any questions? There will be an email. You can reach her,
Yep.
become involved in what she does, or ask her anything about what she says, teaches, or said today. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Corey, for having me.
Hey,
Appreciate
it is my honor. You're a John the Baptist.
You're the first person who said that to
You
me.
are. You're a You're confronting your culture.
Yep.
And that's what he did.
That's what he did.
So thank you for your ministry.
Thank you.
And we're just going to believe God that that support's going to come in for you. Thanks so much for
Thank you.
watching, you guys.